This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Let's talk about some controversy. The Observer would write, one of the Deep South guys who apparently is close to quitting wrote Johnny Ace to complain about how abusive Bill DeMott is at practice. Laurinaitis told the guy he'd come down and talk to everyone about it, basically trying to tell the guy what he wanted to hear. When he got there, he did an about-face and told anyone who didn't like it to go ahead and leave. The DeMott situation was handled months ago when it was mandated all training sessions would get taped, and the tapes have to be shipped to the WWE corporate office so the office can decide whether or not he's just doing his job or not. The fact that he's still there tells you they're behind him. Of course, we know years later, and you weren't there, Bill DeMott would no longer be a part of the company and be sort of shown the door. But in this era, were you hearing a bunch of complaints about Bill DeMott? I mean, as a fan, I loved Hugh Morris, but I never knew anything of his training practices outside of what we would read in the Observer.
Yeah, look, I think that everybody has their own opinions and how you want to do things. To me, I think that individualized training is more effective than group training. And if I've got a class that's got a guy that's 5'10" that is athletically sound and can do anything in the world, I'm going to train him differently than I am a 7-foot giant who is limited in his mobility, but yet has a great look and a great personality. I'm not going to have him running ropes for 10 minutes doing crisscrosses.
Right.
Because, so help me God, if he ever does that in a match, he'll be fired. Also not going to have him out there doing bump and feed drills because he isn't going to bump and feed. So I think that training should be modified to the talent. I think that you need to look and see, you need to get your fundamentals. Everyone should have fundamentals. Everyone should know how to bump properly and be safe. Those are fundamentals. Then you take each individual talent. You know what, man? This guy may not be able to throw a good punch, but by God, he can throw a hell of a clothesline or a great forearm. Whatever it is, you go to their strengths and you take out their negatives. You just cut them away.
Accentuate the positives.
Accentuate the positives and cut out the negatives. And that's, one thing that in training, if you teach everybody the same, then they're all robots.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think wrestling can be really, I don't know, but I don't think you can train wrestlers like, it's like a wrestling factory. They're all the same, right? You can't do that.
Exactly. And I think that, again, I wasn't there. I have no idea how Bill DeMott taught. I know there were a lot of complaints and there were people that didn't like it. I was not a big fan of the Deep South regiment. I felt that it was
a little too Vergania, old school. We're going to tire you out type of deal.
I think it was just too regimented in that everybody doing the same thing. And I didn't see a lot of progress, put it that way. The only guy that I think that came out of there was MVP that really, was, okay, hey, man, this guy's special.
Ohio Valley did a better job than Deep South, fair to say?
I would say that, yeah. I would say Ohio Valley did a much better job. I think Ohio Valley was our best developmental area that we had. The one, to be fair, is you go back and you look at Memphis and what Lawler did. And Lawler was able to take guys that we would send him. And the beautiful thing about Memphis, much like Louisville and OVW, was that they could get guys TV time every single week. Lawler's was live, man.
Old school territory.
Old school, and it was live. And Jerry individualized. It wasn't Jerry training them. We had people down there to train them. But it was, they had individual work, man. Each guy was focused on for their individuality, and they were trained to accentuate what they did best. So, in my opinion, OVW and Memphis were where guys probably got the best training to make them ready for the show.
Mike Mizanin, better known as The Miz, makes his debut on SmackDown and defeats Tatanka. It's better to have a new guy, a guy who's fresh in the business like Mike, debut on a tape show just in case, right?
Yeah, you want to protect them as best as you possibly can, and tape will do that.
Why was Tatanka the right guy?
I think Tatanka's reliable and is going to be able to carry anybody through anything.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.